Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am General Harun Aslam, retired, and I welcome you on behalf of the Iqbal Institute of Policy Studies. It's for our live webinar titled Role of Incubation Centers in Promoting Entrepreneurship in Pakistan. The webinar will bring into limelight the significance of business incubation centers in promoting entrepreneurship and highlight ways to remove systematic and financial obstacles faced by young entrepreneurs and startups in Pakistan. First of all, I'd like to say a few words about Iqbal Institute of Policy Studies. It's an independent research institute with the mission to generate, track, and advocate public policies towards the achievement of sustainable development in Pakistan. In addition to taking on research projects for policy advocacy, IIPS has embarked upon the concept of swift research, wherein it undertakes time-bound research and compiles a series of reports for policy and decision-maker attention. About the webinar, a business incubator is designed to create an environment in which businesses can grow by providing them with necessary innovation, technology, and finances. Millions of startups have developed into million-dollar companies with the help of incubators. Companies like Uber and Airbnb started out in business incubators. Today, these companies are worth billions of dollars. Pakistan has a relatively new startup culture. Despite a lack of financial and technological resources, many Pakistani startups have achieved encouraging results. Our webinar will dilate on the concept of business incubation centers and their significance in creating a business conducive environment in country. The aim of this webinar will be served well if we are able to highlight the important role of such centers in transforming the business landscape and suggest a way forward for Pakistan. Okay. We are fortunate to have eminent panelists who are from diverse backgrounds but can be considered as specialists in their own professional fields. We have Dr. Zubair Iqbal Ghori. Welcome, Dr. Dr. Zubair Iqbal Ghori is the Pro-Rector Research and Strategic Initiatives at Namal University. Today, he will discuss the role of academia in promoting entrepreneurship in Pakistan. We have Mr. Pervez Abbasi. He is Project Director at National Incubation Center. He's also the co-founder of Team Up Angels, which is an agency that facilitates startups in Pakistan. Today, he will discuss the concept and achievements of National Incubation Center. We have Dr. Hakan Hassan Najib. He is a senior economist and public policy expert. He will elaborate on how to create an entrepreneurial mindset of youth in Pakistan. We have Aman Khan. Aman Khan is a young entrepreneur who is an engineer by education. She is currently working on development of different technologies to bring innovation in health and care sector of Pakistan. She will highlight her success story as an entrepreneur through the National Incubation Center she's working with. As regards the conduct of webinar, each participant will speak on a particular given topic for 15 minutes or so. After the round of speech, all the participants, we will have general discussion and Q&A session. और ये मैं यहाँ बताता चलूँ कि आप अगर feel करें convenient तो आप English में बोलें, Urdu में बोलें, it's up to you. So first of all, we'll start with the presentation by Dr. Zubair Iqbal Ghori. Doctor, floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum and very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you very much, Jan Saab. You have been very active in identifying those areas that really need our attention and particularly focus on that and see how both the policy and the implementation side can collaborate. And you are providing the missing link, if you will, that we are missing at the moment, and we want to bridge that gap. So as regards the topic of today's discussion, let's go straight to the point. I'll give you a brief overview of the situation that we are facing at the moment and what are the challenges and opportunities, and then I will go ahead that how our environment is doing and how academia can plug in here. I hope you all know these about these numbers, but just to follow up on these numbers that we have around 220 million population, and around 64% is considered to be youth that is below age of 30. There's a huge youth bulge that we need to train and build their capacity to get into the market. The common understanding of the education that we have here is to find a job. The entrepreneurial spirit that should be there in our academic environment is seriously lacking. But the good thing is that the main leader of this entrepreneurship activity, and that the main requirement of this entrepreneurship activity in the technological environment is there with us. I mean to say that internet connectivity is increasing. It has gone fourfold in the last 3 years, and around 70% of the Pakistani youth have access to any of the networks that are available in Pakistan, and they are using it for different purposes, and that need to be channelized. Just last year, we have registered around 2 billion of IT export, and we are expecting around 5 billion next year as per the statement given by the Federal Minister for Trade. But the problem that we are facing with this youth is we need to create around 1.5 million additional jobs every year to keep up the pace of the population that is one of the leading in the world. We are, if I'm not wrong, 5th largest population in the world. Coming to the activity that we are referring to here is that we have around 30 incubators, formal or informal, that are working here in public or the private sector, around 100 co-working spaces here, and not more than 24 formal investor networks. This figures have been taken from the Pakistan Startup Ecosystem Report 2019. As far as the public sector intervention is concerned, force A is the universities, and just recently the business incubation policy that has been given by HEC, although it requires a lot of improvement, but still not a bad step towards that. Apart from the universities, and I'm pretty sure that most of the universities don't have that setup, but some of the universities do have, including our university, the National University of Modern Languages, that we have our own cohort running for the last 4 or 5 years, and we are one of the leading. Apart from that, we have PITB Lahore, Ignite, NIC centers across the country. The project that will be highlighting upon that. And in the private sector, we have Standard Chartered Bank, a bigger entity, Nelonor, Velocity, JAGS, Accelerate, and Nest, and Invest to Innovate. There are various things and activities that are there. That sounds promising, but unfortunately, in comparison with the peer countries in South Asia, and if you include UAE as well, we're pretty much lacking. And this lacking is evident in the numbers also. We have generated in the last 2 years not more than $200 million through these co-working spaces and the startups that we have, and the leading from them is Daraz and .com, and maybe to some extent Uber and its corollary that is there in the name of Kareem. We have not more than 250 startups which we find them that they are successful, although they are being claimed quite a higher number by the universities, but most of them are either lacking the kick-starting that we required, or they are dormant, or they are just showing the numbers. On the larger scale, in the comparison with the environment, we have the second lowest score in Asia Pacific. This is very alarming. In the whole of the Asia Pacific, we are the second lowest score in Asia Pacific, and well behind the countries in the Middle East and North Africa. In comparison, if you take the first hundreds, UAE is ranked as 19th, India is ranked at 69th, and Nigeria is ranked at 100. Pakistan is ranked somewhere 119th. By the way, in comparison with Bangladesh, we are a little better. They are 123. These figures that I have quoted, taken from the startup report that has been published, Innovate to Accelerate. Now, funding continues to be a major challenge with these environments, and only 9 Pakistani startups received but venture capital funding in 2017 and 18, compared to 34 in Nigeria, 38 in UAE, and 790 in India during the same period. So this is a brief overview, the numbers that have been I have been looking at in the last 1 or 2 days when I was preparing for this talk. So There is a potential. We always talk about the potential. There is a gap that needs to be filled. There is a connectivity issue that has been solved quite a bit. But here comes the role of academia. I may not be able to comment on the startups or the incubation centers that are working outside the academic structure. But if we only focus on the academic startups and we encourage them and provide them the opportunities, then there is a serious capacity that needs to be built, and then we'll be able to at least 10 to 15% increase in our cohorts. Unfortunately, in the last 2 years, because of this COVID and the closing of the universities, largely closing, we do not have these cohorts that are working. I'm sure National Incubation Center will be dilating upon it a bit more. But as far as the academic environment is concerned, we run the startups and cohorts every year. Namal is going to go into the next cohort 5 in the next month, but due to the closure of the universities, we are still fighting with ourselves whether we should call the students in or out. But that's a given a problem. But the inculcation of this culture of entrepreneurship in the academia is the basic requirement. We need to have technical hubs and infrastructure support in all the universities in Pakistan. If not in the private sector, at least in the public sector. We have around 200 universities, which is a very big number. And if you take maybe 5,000 students in each university who are at this stage of final year or the penultimate, they have their semester that is going on. If we only take that number, that can be a huge service to us. And initial seed funding in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the trainings that can be provided, in terms of the technical support that can be provided, can easily arranged by these universities, because most of these universities have got this basic infrastructure of room, tables, presentation facilities, resources, both human and technological. They have that. And then from that onwards, the policy and the regulatory environment can be built up. This policy and regulatory environment has already been built up to some extent by the HEC's latest business incubation policy, which is a fair document. And in the initial stage, as we have this nascent stage of business incubation in Pakistan, that can be very, very helpful. Although we can work with them to improve it for the later stages. But yes, we can do that. There is another organization that is working under Higher Education Commission that is called NAHI. That was initiated with a great fanfare that we want to have a National Academy of Higher Education. NAHI needs to get into this whole fold to provide training for the trainer of the trainers, the master trainers, if you will. These master trainers will then help these incubation centers in the academic environment. For the last 1 year, since we have been initiators of the business incubation in Pakistani academia, and we developed their modules in collaboration with the Carnegie School and the British Council. That was the World Bank project, and we have developed in-house copies of those material that is available. That's a very precious document that we can have, that can be shared with anybody. And we can also provide training facilities. We have infrastructure. We can have online sessions. There are so many things that we can do there. The initiation of this whole process, or the steps, need to be taken by the HEC or any regulatory government sector. They need to be proactive in this regard. So we have given our offer, and Jansab, if we can take up this offer to other organizations as well. So we have that whole of the module. We have 12 modules prepared, ready to go on, ready to be delivered. And we are also able to train them on a very marginal cost, or maybe on pro bono basis. The next challenge that we are facing here in academic sector, apart from training and the infrastructure and the seed funding, is the gender gap. There is a serious limitation among the gender, both the genders, if you consider the third as well, because now we are kind of a genderless environment. The female population of even the universities, they are seriously lacking. In the last 4 cohorts that we have run, and we have studied on that, around 15% of those cohorts that we ran for about 1,000 students in the last 3 years, 15% were female. although the female population of our university is around 54%. So this 40% which is missing here, and I'm sure that might be the case in other universities, particularly lying on the fringes, on the far-flung areas in Pakistan, that gap can be even yawning. So we must work on these females. We have to get out of this paradigm that only females can work in the teaching or nursing or maybe silai kadai and this and that. Yes, they can do that, but they're good engineers, they're good IT experts, they're good language speakers, they're excellent interpreters, they're excellent designers, they are very good planners of these activities. So as far as the universities are concerned, they need to encourage those females. The one gap that I have identified in my university, and now we are trying to fill in here, that at the top positions in the universities, from dean, HODs, and the directors and the prorectors at many institutions, there is a serious lack of women in those numbers. Since these girls come from various different backgrounds, they feel shyness and they do not come up to the males because of the social and cultural reasons. And of course, for the gender roles, diversification, we need to have more women at the policy making situation, right from the coordinators to the head of the departments to the deans to the prorectors and directors in each university, so that women can feel more encouraged and more have that the familiar environment from them, and slowly and gradually we can have an open up policy. Now, besides these basic things that I want to do, some of these activities are being carried out at this university. There's 3 basic levers that we can use overall that can help come out of this situation of lack of entrepreneur's culture. The first lever that we need to use is we have to have enabling policies and facilitating infrastructure. The second lever that we can use here is the cultivation of the local talent. Not only saying that हमें बहुत talent है, हम बहुत कर देंगे, और पाकिस्तानी दुनिया की बहुत बड़ी कौम है, इस पे भी आऊँगा इसके ऊपर, जो हमारे पास एक recent index आया है. We do have the talent, but that talent needs to be polished and chiseled and then sent into the market with proper training and technical expertise. And the third lever that I would like to advocate is providing of the startups access to funding. Now, coming to the first lever that I refer to here, we have to design those enabling environment and policies. The first thing that we can do is improve our policies and regulations. And that goes with everything here. You start from our PEPRA rules, which are highly restrictive in developing anything in Pakistan. And of course, the environment of everybody is bad, or har koi jo hai wo corrupt hai, aur koi kaam nahi kar raha. The public sector leaders, they are very, very hard hit to take decisions. They need to be relaxed into the environment, and we need to develop those products. And when we put those products from the public sector to the market, these policies hinder us. Another one is the Public-Private Partnership Act that is there. And I'm not sure that this Public-Private Partnership Act, since I was working in Punjab government also for the last 3-4 years, they have not been able to develop more than 30 projects in the last 5 years. This is the state of the affairs. So we need to work on that. As regards this, we have to have a policy structure changes through HEC and within the universities to not only improve the academic environment, but have the inclusion of the courses, developing of the these courses, and then training of trainers, and then of course the trainings. The next thing we have to do is invest in the enabling infrastructure. We have loads and loads of classrooms here and there where only passive teaching is being provided, and maybe in the evening courses, maybe in the weekends, we can have those infrastructure available to invest in those entrepreneurship activities. Now, coming to the second lever, that is the cultivating the local talent. According to the recent IMF report, that Pakistan ranks 109 out of 120 countries in the talent competitive index as reported by IMF. It's a very, very alarming thing. We keep on harping on our string. We keep on thumping on our chest that we are the best. We must understand we are not the best, and we have to work a lot. And for this, we have to foster talent through university networks. networks, interactivity within the university. Now, here I'm coming to from policy to the implementation part. Like I have offered different things to you, that we have huge infrastructure here in this university, and we can offer to this any other university to host their event, even participate and collaborate with us in our incubation cohorts, and we are always open to them. We have to teach basic digital skills through vocational institutes. Now, everybody is doing BA, MBA, and those are special things that are associated with apart from मैंने डॉक्टर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है, तीसरी स्टेज है कि मैंने MBA करना है, और उसके पास एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल क्या है, वोकेशनल कोई स्किल उसके पास है या नहीं है, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स हैं उसके पास नहीं है. These vocational institutes that used to be very good in Pakistan, they need to be relifted once again. We have to connect those expats with innovation in Pakistan. There are many expats which are working great activities. Dr. Najib is here. He's doing great job.
I hate to interrupt the wind up kijega times.
I'm just coming, just coming. So the last lever that we want to have is the providing the startup funding. These startups cannot find funding. We have to establish fundamental guiding principles for investments, and particularly have a linear environment for these investments and easy access. The bureaucratic environment and the writing of these documents and doing all those things, people are simply put off by this. Then we have to capture and develop networks, and these investing organizations need to be a bit more patient and pragmatic in their growth mindset. And finally, they need to monitor the value creation KPIs and then repeat them over and over, so that we don't need to reinvent the wheel again. So to sum up, Pakistan is a densely populated country with a consumption-led economy and right intrinsic drivers to attract startups. However, there is a burgeoning middle class and a young population that is rapidly becoming digital savvy. So the startup ecosystem is still nascent compared to the peer countries, is starting to show signs of emergence, and the areas that I've identified can be used to help in these development of growth areas and pockets of entrepreneurships to reap great dividends maybe in the near future. Thank you very much, Jan Saab, and sorry for being a bit.
No, you're not taking much of time. Thank you very much, Dr. Hori. A few interesting figures you gave. And yes, we need 1.5 million jobs per year. And just imagine if we are unable to provide those number of jobs, what is going to happen? That jobless youth, then what they indulge in crime, they indulge in other anti-social activities. So you gave a few figures about the gender, that 15% ladies are engaged in, you gave your figures of your university, that the actual strength is 54. Out of them, 15% get engaged in incubation centers. Then you talked about levers, the three levers: enabling policies and infrastructure, and understanding the local environment and access to funds. So this sums up what is the way forward for incubation centers. Okay, now Mr. Pervez Abbasi, floor is yours, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much, General Harun. I wanted to first of all thank you and also congratulate you on this very important topic that we'll be discussing today, using the Iqbal Institute Policy Studies platform. As you mentioned earlier in your introduction, I serve as the project director at Pakistan's first and largest national incubation center, housed here in Islamabad. We started approximately 5 years ago, and if you look at what we've done as part of the government policy, I would say the Ministry of IT and Telecom took this initiative through its concern, which is known as the original ICT R&D fund, which later became the Ignite fund. And as a result of that, what we've seen that there are now 5 national incubation centers across Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar, Quetta. And now we, inshallah, by the end of this year, we will roll out perhaps another 2 to 3 national incubation centers. The National Incubation Center, just to share with you, is a collaboration of a public-private partnership where we are housed in a government building and we are supported by government funds. These funds originate from the telecom operators, so people who are using mobile phones. A small portion of their contribution comes to the Ignite Fund, which is then spent on building not only the National Incubation Center, but other projects such as the DigiSkills project and various other programs that they have. The National Incubation Center, when we started, our partners, Mobilink Jazz, and our co-founder, Zuhair Khalik, who's the former CEO, has a wealth of experience in this particular industry. And what we wanted to do was give back to Pakistan. As part of the experiences that we've had both within Pakistan and abroad, we felt that we have seen the changes through the youth. So we felt that if we were to enable the youth with technology, we can change the course of Pakistan. And we've looked at how this has been done in the US, how it's been done in Europe, and more recently, how it's been done in China. Over a very short period of 25 to 30 years, they've managed to not only uplift hundreds of millions of people out of poverty, but also become a superpower. The National Incubation Center, just to share with you, it is an award-winning facility. So in terms of design, I always encourage people to come and visit us. If you cannot visit us, we are online at www.nicpakistan.pk, where we have a virtual tour. And we also have a lot of information about our startup founders and all of the people that are there. I'm very proud of the fact that last month we also won a United Nations ITU award in which over 100 countries were participating, and proudly Pakistan won that particular category as well. So within the co-working space that we have a capacity to house over 250 people here in Islamabad. The figures that I'm going to be sharing with you refer specifically to Islamabad, but the project overall has, as I said, expanded to other cities as well. What we do is we provide a safe and secure working environment. I think Dr. Saab mentioned earlier that we have to provide those kind of physical infrastructures where people feel safe and secure. We provide high-speed broadband internet, electricity. It would also be appropriate to mention that all of these services are free of cost for 1 year. And in addition to that, we have a customized curriculum that we have developed looking at not only international best practices, but also looking at what is required here in Pakistan. I'm also proud of the fact that we have well over 100 mentors and domain experts, people who have sometimes decades of experience, be it in marketing, be it in IT, be it in finance, be it in law or any other support that is available to all of our startup founders as and when required. In addition to that, we have, alhamdulillah, access to well over 60 investors now. Some of them are what we call angel investors, investing a few $1,000s, all the way going up to venture capital funds who have now partnered with us, providing multi-million-dollar investments. And of course, industry linkages. These are the kind of services that are provided that we felt are needed here. And the idea being, as Dr. Saab mentioned earlier, that if we were to create 1.5 million jobs annually, this is not possible for any government. Even in developed countries, they cannot create these kind of jobs. So our vision was, let's help these people, take them out of the job market. Let's allow them to do their own business, and let's allow them to create employment, not only for themselves, but for other people as well. And I'm very happy to report, as I read off the Ignite website, just to put things into context, to date, we have generated over $3.2 billion, rupees of revenue, over 8 billion rupees of investments, and over 100,000 jobs have been created through the National Incubation Center program across the country. Dr. Saab mentioned also, which is quite an interesting statistic I would like to share with the audience here, that globally, the average female founder ratio to male ratio is 14%. In the US, which is a little bit more advanced, it's 17%. And I'm very proud of the fact that here at the National Incubation Center in Islamabad, General Saab, you'll be happy to know that it's 21%. So we are not only setting the benchmark, alhamdulillah, we are exceeding that particular benchmark. And this was only possible by facilitation of having a very safe and secure environment. We also have a daycare center, which allows our young founder mothers to bring their children and keep them in a safe, secure environment and allow them to obviously cater to their children's needs as well as their working requirements as well. Another important thing, I think, again, Dr. Saab alluded to, that in a population of 220 million people, where 60% are under the age of 30, it is a very big challenge, and it's a double-edged sword. However, one thing to note, which with all due respect, I would like to mention here, from employers, we hear that 90% of fresh graduates are unemployable. Now, this is a very, very big issue that I personally feel that if we're spending so much time, effort, and money, where some parents have to sell their properties and their lands just so that their children can get a degree, and at the end of that degree, it's not worth the paper it's written on because they cannot find a job. So this is really, really very critical. I think we need to really review this. And also, in terms of economic growth, if you look at the countries that are today strong, considered to be superpowers, whether it's the US, Europe, or even the USA or China more recently, these are considered to be economic superpowers because of their backbone of business. And if you look at their businesses, those businesses such as Amazon, Apple, Google, and Facebook, just to name a few in the US, all of these companies, they contribute billions of dollars in taxes. They employ hundreds and thousands, if not millions of people across the world. And these companies all started as startups, maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago, maximum 25 to 30 years ago. And today they are contributing significantly, not only in terms of taxes, but a human capacity as well. And therefore, I believe that it's a question of time that some of our startups that are here in Pakistan would also be able to contribute to the economic backbone. And in this regard, of course, we need to lobby the government. We're very fortunate that being part of the government allows us access to institutions like the SECP, the FBR, the State Bank of Pakistan, where we often hold what we call roundtables, where we bring in different stakeholders from the government, from investors, from startup founders, policymakers, to exchange ideas and views on what the issues, challenges, as well as the opportunities are. And I'm very happy, General Saab, to report that as a direct result of some of that conversation and collaboration, we have made a policy change within the government, which has now allowed the facilitation of startups, recognition of startups as equity, and therefore allowing people to now invest in startups easier. Sir, it would be appropriate to mention, and I understand Dr. Saab mentioned this before as well, that in the last 18 months, maximum 2 years, we have had over $200 million invested in Pakistani startups. This $200 million, sir, is more than the last 20 years of investments in startups. And I believe that this is a recognition of where Pakistan is going. And I believe that this is a big, big contribution, not only from the local Pakistanis, but also from our diaspora Pakistanis. General Saab, as you're aware, we have over 15 million people of Pakistan origin living abroad. And I'm very happy to report that a significant portion, and this is people who are domain experts, we have over 10,000 Pakistanis living in the US, specifically in Silicon Valley. We have 1.5 million people of Pakistan origin living in the UK. And those people, and I'm just referring to 1% of those people, they contribute not only their financial support, but also their intellect. As most people are aware, the diaspora community, they contribute $30 billion in remittances. And that's a significant amount, not only of money, and which of course helps Pakistan. What we are trying to do is tap into something which we feel is more valuable than the $30 billion. We are trying to tap into their knowledge, their expertise, and their network, which I believe would allow us to grow much, much faster and would help the Pakistani startups. I would also like to mention here that it's not possible for the government to do these kind of things themselves. With all due respect, if we look at government, their role should be for policy formulation, and they should be able to facilitate private organizations to come in and manage the incubators and manage the business. And this has been a successful model. And if you look at this particular model of the National Incubation Center, as I said, is globally recognized. I think we just need to repeat and replicate as much of this as possible. I would also like to say that apart from the international market, Pakistan itself presents it huge opportunities for startups and investments. In the field of tourism, for example, recently we all have perhaps heard that billions of rupees were exchanged or spent in KP just over the Eid holidays. Similarly, Murray, which is very close to my heart, we had over 145,000 vehicles enter during the Eid weekend. So that just shows you how much demand there is for local tourism. And of course, once COVID is behind us and we open up, we should be a very big opportunity is the international tourism that we expect to come to Pakistan as well. In the field of agriculture, which is one of the largest employers in Pakistan, not only for men, but also for women, if we were to enable technology to create efficiencies, 40% of our produce, sir, is wasted. I believe that through technology and through startup innovation, we can actually save a lot of that, thus not only creating more efficiency, but also reducing the price of consumable items. Similarly, in the health sector, COVID has taught us that the use of technology could facilitate remote health telehealth services. And lastly, of course, again, through COVID, we have learned that remote learning education is an opportunity. And I would encourage all of the people listening here to look at those areas within Pakistan where we can actually contribute, where we can actually help. General Saab, again, I would like to thank you for giving us this opportunity. I'd like to welcome everybody to come and visit the National Incubation Center. We have published a number of papers, incidentally, which are also listed on our website, as well as all of the startup, the founders. And I would encourage people to engage with the National Incubation Center program, either as a startup founder, share your ideas, perhaps as a mentor, as a domain expert, or even as an investor. At the end, I wanted to say thank you very much. And of course, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take those. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abbasi. That was a great talk you gave, and you have greatly introduced your National Incubation Center, showcased it in a manner that I think you are doing a tremendous job.
Thank you.
But I would just like to add one thing here, that you are doing such a great job, and believe you me, I didn't know about this setup you have there. So there is perhaps a need to make people aware of your setup in most of the provinces you have, because if people get to know about your setup, they like to get engaged. But कहते हैं ना, marketing का दौर है, तो थोड़ी सी जरा marketing और बेहतर कीजिए. The wonderful talk, sir, and you said that NIC provides safe and secure environment, so important particularly for the ladies. And you highlighted one aspect, that governments don't create jobs; they are not supposed to. They need to evolve policies conducive for growth of private sector, and that is the answer to this problem. How to provide job opportunities to 1.5 million a year. A wonderful aspect that you have daycare center. We know of a number of ladies who want to, venture into some kind of business, but because of their family occupation, family responsibilities, and taking care of children, they can't. And you mentioned that 90% of our young graduates are not employable. What a tragedy! Because I'm from military background, so there are all retired NCOs and JCOs. Sir, सब कुछ बेच दिया, बच्चे को पढ़ाया था, इंजीनियर है, तो बेरोजगार है, को नौकरी दिलवा दे. This is tragic. And you see a youth full of hope, full of expectations. He goes into the market and is jobless. This is something which has to be taken care of at emergent basis. You hold roundtables with SCCP, FBR, and others, and it's a great thing that you have, got into the realm of policy advocacy, that you have been able to influence government policies. Bhai Sahab, a great structure behind you says at the bottom that you dream, then build, and then rise. That says it all. Wonderful talk, sir. Dr. Khakan Hassan Najib, Dr. You are going to speak on how to create an entrepreneurial mindset of youth in Pakistan. The floor is yours, sir.
Jan sir, thank you so much. Always great to be on one of your webinars. This one's very special for me. जब आपने ये कहा, मैं इस issue को थोड़ी सी differently देखता हूँ. देखें, इसको आप competence के पैराहे में समझने की कोशिश करें. You want a competent doctor, you want a competent plumber, you want a competent teacher, so you want a competent entrepreneur in the country. You have to think about this in a very different mind frame. These are the competent entrepreneurs who have created multi-billion-dollar companies abroad, whether they are Zooms or Twitters. But ये एक mindset था उनका कि उन्होंने ये create करना है, चाहे वो स्कूल और कॉलेज में बैठ के कर रहे हों या बाहर आके कर रहे हों. So जैसे कि पहले हमारे शुरुका ने कहा कि talent is one thing, having a competent nation is something very different. So इसको भी हमें competent के पैराहे में देखना चाहिए. इसको हमें necessity driven नहीं होना चाहिए कि चूंकि मुझे नौकरी नहीं दिलवा सके जनरल साहब, so मैं अब एक corner store खोल लूं. पर मेरी ख्वाहिश ये होनी चाहिए थी कि मैं अपना कॉर्नर स्टोर खोलूं और वो एक आइडियल कॉर्नर स्टोर हो और वो मेरी सारी इर्द गिर्द की जो जरूरियात है वो उनको पूरा करता हो. सो ये माइंड सेट है सारा जो इसको ड्राइव करेगा. माइंड सेट ऑफ जिस यूथ बल्ज की हम बात करते हैं, माइंड सेट ऑफ द पीपल हु आर एट द पॉलिसी लेवल एंड माइंड सेट ऑफ द लीडरशिप एंड चेंजिंग आवर थॉट प्रोसेस कि इज्जत सिर्फ सरकारी नौकरी में या मल्टीनेशनल की नौकरी में नहीं है, बल्कि अपनी रोजी को खुद कमाने में है और वो इज्जत लोकल नहीं रहेगी बल्कि ग्लोबल भी बन जाएगी. सो विद दैट प्रेमिस, दूसरे शुरुका ने बहुत अच्छा बयान किया कि स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम या एंटरप्रेन्योरियल स्पिरिट या माइंडसेट या टैलेंट जो है वो रॉ है और वो नंबर्स में दिखाई देता है. मैं बहुत ज्यादा जो इंडाइसीज हैं उनका बिलीवर नहीं हूं, बिकॉज कभी कभी आप वो ओवर एग्जैजरेट भी कर देते हैं और कभी अंडरस्टेट भी कर देते हैं. बट लार्जली नंबर्स इसी तरफ पॉइंट करते हैं कि जैसे 5 हमारे जो स्टार्टअप्स हैं 300 में से एनुअली वो सर्वाइव करते हैं ओवर द मीडियम टर्म. इसी तरह 23% अप्रोक्सीमेटली जो पाकिस्तान का 12 मिलियन इस वक्त यूथ है वो चाहता है कि हम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स या कोई काम कर सकें, बट उनको भी ये मालूम नहीं है कि वो ये काम कैसे करेंगे. ये एक UNDP की रिपोर्ट है रिसेंट जो कह रही है. वेंचर कैपिटल पाकिस्तान आई थिंक अबाउट 0.10 है, जबकि पर कैपिटा पे जबकि शायद UAE $20 है. सो अगर आप इन चीज़ों को देखें और विमेन की पार्टिसिपेशन जो है वो मिनिमम है बाय एनी स्टैंडर्ड्स. सो ये फिगर्स तो ऑब्वियसली ये पोर्ट्रे करते हैं. ऑन द पॉजिटिव साइड जो हमारा ग्रोथ आ रही है फ्रीलांसिंग में, जिसको आप एक एंटरप्रेन्योरियल स्पिरिट ही कह सकते हैं, वो बहुत अच्छी है और ये $2 बिलियन की IT एक्सपोर्ट भी दिखाई दे रही है बेहतर होते भी. बट ये कोई स्केल नहीं है, मतलब ये कोई स्केल नहीं है अपनी नेबरिंग कंट्री से. अगेन हम जब ये नंबर्स को समझते हैं कि वो $1 से $2 बिलियन चले गए फॉर अ कंट्री ऑफ 230 मिलियन पीपल, फॉर अ कंट्री व्हिच कैन डू मच हायर, दिस स्केल इज ऑलमोस्ट एट द बिगिनिंग स्केल. सो हमें एक हमेशा चीज याद रखनी है कि जब नंबर हम कहते हैं कि 70% बढ़ गई, बट वो 70% उस छोटे के अमाउंट से बढ़ रही है जिसका जो इम्पैक्ट है पूरी सोसाइटी पे या हमारी इंपोर्ट्स पे या हमारी एक्सपोर्ट्स पे वो उतना नहीं है जितना हम देखना चाहते हैं. ऑफ कोर्स जॉब क्रिएशन जो है इस मुल्क की एक जरूरत है. हमें 1.3 to 1.5 मिलियन जॉब्स चाहिए. वो आएंगी कहाँ से? वो आएंगी तभी कि अगर हम अपने यहाँ क्रिएट करेंगे वो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप का माइंडसेट जो कि हमारे यहाँ स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस को बढ़ा सके. लेकिन पाकिस्तान में सारी जो मराहत हैं वो हम देते हैं बड़े एंटरप्रेन्योर को, बड़े लार्ज स्केल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को. 5.2 मिलियन इकोनॉमिक एस्टैब्लिशमेंट्स हैं पाकिस्तान में, 99% SMEs हैं. सो एक तो ये कल्चर और हमें चेंज करना है. और आप देख भी रहे हैं कि इस वक्त भी और हम हुकूमत में थोड़ा सा ये एक रमक जागी है कि हमने जो फाइनेंसिंग है उसको इजी करना है फॉर दोज पीपल हु डोंट हैव अ कोलैटरल, फॉर दोज पीपल हु कैन नॉट प्रोवाइड लार्ज गारंटीज, फॉर दोज पीपल हु हैव आइडियाज बट नॉट अ ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड. सो एक तो फाइनेंसिंग का इशू है, इसको हम सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करें. दूसरी बात यह है कि एक जॉब SME में 1 लाख रुपए पे क्रिएट होती है, वही जॉब लार्ज स्केल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में 1 मिलियन की इन्वेस्टमेंट से क्रिएट होती है. सो बाय ऑल स्टैंडर्ड्स हमें एडवोकेट करना है, जैसे जनरल साहब कह रहे थे कि यही है पाकिस्तान की ना एम्प्लॉयमेंट का सोल्यूशन बट पाकिस्तान की एक्सपोर्ट का सोल्यूशन और पाकिस्तान के बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट को सॉल्व करने का सोल्यूशन. अभी हमें करना किस तरह है? देखें, एक तो ये मैं हमेशा कहता हूं कि इंस्टीट्यूशंस को कंफ्यूज कर दिया गया है कि जैसे इंस्टीट्यूशंस कोई रूल ऑफ लॉ और सिर्फ इन्हीं चीजों का नाम है. इंस्टीट्यूशन सोशल नॉर्म्स का नाम है, इंस्टीट्यूशंस वैल्यूज का नाम है, इंस्टीट्यूशंस कल्चर का नाम है. अगर इंस्टीट्यूशंस इन सब चीजों का नाम है तो आपने ये जो सॉफ्ट इंस्टीट्यूशन है ये क्रिएट करना है एडवोकेसी के थ्रू. ये बहुत जरूरी है. लोग समझते हैं कि एडवोकेसी का रोल बहुत कम है. एडवोकेसी का रोल बहुत बड़ा है, चेंजिंग द माइंडसेट्स ऑफ द यंग पीपल टू डू व्हाट यू वांट देम टू डू इन द फ्यूचर. दूसरा, हमें इंक्यूबेशन फैसिलिटीज की बहुत बात हो गई. हमें लीगल सपोर्ट, रजिस्ट्रेशन, लाइसेंसिंग, परमिट्स, ये 3 चीजें जो है ना, जिसको हम कहते हैं लाइसेंसिंग राज, इसको बिल्कुल ईजी कर देना है. जिस तरह एक रेगुलेटरी गिलोटीन करनी है, अगर मुझसे पूछा जाए तो मैं थोड़ा सा अब चेंज हो गया हूं, बिकॉज मैं बिलीव करता हूं कि स्केल इज एवरीथिंग. अगर आपने स्केल से इस चीज को ठीक करना है तो आप आज ये कहें कि ऑल रेगुलेशंस टुडे आर गॉन, टुमारो ब्रिंग मी द रेगुलेशन दैट इज नीडेड and we will enact it. Because जब आप चीजों को clean up करने जाते हैं ना, whether it's an organization or whether it's a regulation, तो everyone will come and tell you कि सर इसके बगैर तो काम ही नहीं चलेगा. To do that, one way to do is कि कई जगहों पे आप रेगुलेशन को बिल्कुल खत्म कर दें और आप ये कहें कि अब मुझे ये बताओ कि यार कौन से रेगुलेशन की जरूरत है, जिसको हम रेगुलेटरी गिलोटीन कहते हैं. So that is something that we have to do so that we make it easier for people to do what they want to do, whatever they want to do. तो एक तो ये एस्पेक्ट है. फिर देखें, ट्रेनिंग, सपोर्ट, मार्केटिंग एकेडमिया से आए, बट कुछ और अदारों से भी आनी चाहिए. देखिए, जैसे आपने इदारे बनाए हैं, स्मीडा इस चीज का एक अदारा है जो ये काम कर सकता है. नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर है, इग्नाइट नेशनल टेक्नोलॉजी फंड है, इसी तरह अब STZ आ रही है. सो इन अदारों का काम ये होना चाहिए कि ये वो हैंड होल्डिंग कर सकें कि लोग आसानी से अपने कारोबार को शुरू कर सकें इस मुल्क में. मैंने फाइनेंशियल्स का पहले भी जिक्र किया. देखें, इक्विटी फाइनेंसिंग, डेट फाइनेंसिंग और वेंचर कैपिटल फाइनेंसिंग. सो ये 3 फाइनेंसिंग हमें बड़ा क्लियर होना चाहिए. हमें इक्विटी मार्केट्स की डेप्थ बढ़ानी है. सो सिर्फ डेप्थ इसी तरह नहीं बढ़ानी कि हम बड़े IPOs का सोचें पर हम छोटे IPOs का भी सोच सकें. डेट मार्केट्स में अब हमें इस तरफ जाना है कि कोलैटरल जो है, और ये एक चीज मैं रिसेंटली डिस्कस भी कर रहा था लीडरशिप से कि हमें सिर्फ ये नहीं सोचना कि हमें माइक्रो लोन्स करने हैं, हमें ये भी सोचना है कि हमें थोड़े बड़े लोन्स करने हैं और उसके कोलैटरल को किस तरह हमने हैंडल करना है, यानी कि गवर्नमेंट किस तरह बैकस्टॉप कर सकती है उस तरह. वेंचर कैपिटल इज अ थिंग, श्योरली वी शुड डू इट, बट वेंचर कैपिटल लोगों को रिस्क लेना चाहिए. जिसने जूम पे रिस्क लिया है, जिसने इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स पे दुनिया में रिस्क लिया है, जिसने उन डिसरप्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज पे रिस्क लिया है पिछले कुछ महीनों में, कुछ सालों में, दे हैव डन वेल. मैं खुद इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंस में इन्वॉल्व हूँ, एंड थिंग्स हैव जस्ट blasted through the roof. So again, you need to tell the people who are listening to this must know that is how the world works. REITs वगैरह ये देखें, ये बहुत अच्छी चीजें हैं, but these are technologies of the past. आज डिसरप्टिव टेक्नोलॉजी है, और डिसरप्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज बड़ी आसान है समझना कि एक लड़का, एक लड़की, एक इंसान क्या एक चीज को बेहतर किस तरह डिलीवर कर सकता है. अगर आप उस चीज को बेहतर डिलीवर कर सकते हैं तो जो पुराना तरीका कार है काम का वो खत्म हो जाएगा और आप उसको टेक ओवर कर लेंगे. सो थिंक अबाउट दोज थिंग्स, सिट एंड थिंक हाउ यू कैन डू एवरीथिंग बेटर. That is a very simple way of thinking about a disruptive technology. So, and that's what I do all the time. I just think, how do I make my life more productive? How do I place my funds better? How do I do my job better? How do I create a new product better? What is the new product that is to be created? So this is the mindset that we have to start thinking about. मैक्रो लेवल पे ऑब्वियसली यूनिवर्सिटीज का रोल बहुत अहम है. डॉक्टर साहब ने बहुत अच्छी तरह इस पे बात भी की है. पर जो एक चीज आड़े आएगी, देखें, वो है कि हमारी कल ही मेरी IT के बारे में ही डिस्कशन हो रही थी कि हमारी इनपुट ऑफ पीपल क्या आती है. तो ऑब्वियसली आई थिंक हमारी कुछ नेबरिंग कंट्रीज ने इसको सक्सेसफुली डील किया है थ्रू वेरी हाईली क्वालिटेटिव. एक मैंने स्केल की बात की है, दूसरी ये बात करना जरूरी है कि बहुत से लोग BA के बाद नौकरी तो मांग सकते हैं, बट हमें क्वालिटेटिवली चीजों को देखना है. क्वांटिटी इज नॉट एवरीथिंग, राइट. दुनिया में क्वालिटी बहुत मैटर करती है. आप अच्छी क्वालिटी की प्रोडक्ट खरीदना चाहते हैं ना, आप अच्छी क्वालिटी का इंसान चाहते हैं जो आपकी गाड़ी चलाए। क्वालिटी को मैं बड़ी आसानी से डिस्क्राइब करता हूं कि एक ड्राइवर और एक शोफर में एक डिफरेंस होता है, वो डिफरेंस जो है वो क्वालिटी को सिग्निफाई करता है। मैं आसान लफ्जों में इसलिए एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं कि सब को समझ आए कि you know everyone should try to become better at what they do. I've always said this, and that's been my life's endeavor. फेडरल एंड प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स जो हैं, इंडस्ट्रियल डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं, इनको भी यूज कर सकती हैं। अगेन इंटरैक्ट करें, इनसे पूछें, कनेक्ट करें इन लोगों से। इट इज जैसे कहते हैं ना, गवर्नेंस फॉर द पीपल बाय द पीपल। जस्ट कनेक्ट टू देम, आस्क देम व्हाट कैन बी डन फॉर देम, और उनको ईज ऑफ करें इन चीजों में। देखें, इन द एंड जो है ना, इन लोगों को अगर आपने पुल अलोंग करना है तो ये लोग या तो आप पे एक बोझ बन सकते हैं, या ये लोग आपकी जो लो इन्वेस्टमेंट टू जीडीपी रेशियो, ये जो मैक्रो सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं आपकी, बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट की, लो इन्वेस्टमेंट टू जीडीपी रेशियो की, ये तभी ठीक होंगी कि ये जो सारे लोग हैं ये प्रोडक्टिव लोग बन जाएं। इनका जो माइंड सेट है वो ये बन जाए कि यार वी आर गोइंग टू बी प्लेयर्स। I like to mention कि मैंने अभी एक आर्टिकल कल ही लिखा है न्यूज में, और उसमें मैंने लिखा है टुगेदरनेस। देखिए, हमें ये रियलाइज करना है कि हमें इन लोगों को, जो हमारे सारे लोग हैं 220 या 230 मिलियन के, इनको पुल अलोंग करना है। पुल अलोंग करने के लिए अभी हम आज बात कर रहे हैं हमने किस तरह एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को पुल अलोंग करना है, कैसे निकालना है हमने इनको इस सोसाइटी में, और इनको कैसे सपोर्ट करना है। अनटिल ये लोग पार्ट बने इस सारे मैक्रो को सॉल्व करने का एट द माइक्रो लेवल, तो हमारे कभी भी मैक्रो इश्यूज जो हैं वो दूर नहीं हो सकते। मैक्रो इश्यूज जो हैं वो इनग्रेन्ड हैं हमारे माइक्रो प्रोसेसेस में, और इन माइक्रो प्रोसेसेस को ठीक करना जो है वो जरूरी है। सो हमने कई चीजें आप सामने रखी हैं कि माइंडसेट को बेहतर करने के लिए हमें क्या सोशल नॉर्म्स चेंज करने हैं, हमने कैसे इजी करना है रेगुलेशन को, हमने कैसे कैपिटल की फरहमी इनके लिए इजी करनी है, हमने कैसे इन्हें मेन स्ट्रीम में लाना है रादर देन हम इनको सिर्फ जॉब स्ट्रीम में रखें। थैंक यू सो मच जनरल साहब।
Thank you, Dr. Khakan. Like always, you have condensed everything into those 15 minutes, and you talked about changing the mindset, the way we think. I say that if one's hobby becomes one's occupation or profession, that would be great. We have to change the mindset, and you said that we should focus on SME, because the cost for providing jobs is much lesser than as compared to the larger industry. जो आपने एक बात की है ना, देखिए जी कि जी एक बच्चा ये ना सोचे कि जी मुझे इज्जत तभी मिलेगी जब मैं सरकारी नौकर बनूंगा। हमारे मुल्क में जरूरत है मेहनत की को इज्जत देने की। अभी लेटली शायद आपने देखा हो कि समथिंग वीडियो वेंट वायरल कि एक बाहर से पढ़ा लिखा कोई, ही वुड बी अबाउट 45-50 years old, और वो he well educated from foreign university. So he said, I came back to Pakistan and I went around seeking job and begging people for jobs, and I could not get a job. उसने क्या किया कि अपने गाड़ी के ऊपर बिरयानी बेचनी शुरू की, और उसने दिखाया कॉलिंग सर बिरयानी बिरयानी, एजुकेटेड आदमी, और अभी उसने कहा कि जी ये मैंने स्टार्ट किया, एंड विद इन 6 months he is opening 2 more outlets जहां वो ये बिरयानी और ये फास्ट फूड और बेचेगा। तो थोड़ा मेहनत की इज्जत बहुत जरूरी है। हमारा डॉक्टर जो है वो क्यों CSS का इम्तिहान देके तो डिप्टी कमिश्नर लगना चाहता है, क्योंकि वो कहता है मेरे पास ताकत होगी, मेरे पास अथॉरिटी होगी, मेरे पास इज्जत होगी। यही अगर हम एंटरप्रेन्योर और ये प्राइवेट सेक्टर में आम आदमी को भी इज्जत दें, और यही परहैप्स आजकल ये रिक्वायरमेंट है कि एवरीबॉडी शुड फील रिस्पेक्टेबल एंड सिक्योर, एंड पाकिस्तान तभी तरक्की करेगा। और आपने ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस आप एक नेक्स्ट स्टेज पे ले गए कि जो भी कोई करना चाहता है उसको करने दो और उसको फैसिलिटेट करो। आपने बात की थी, यू टॉक्ड अबाउट डिसरप्टिव टेक्नोलॉजीज। आई कॉल इट वी नीड डिसरप्टिव स्ट्रैटेजीज। जैसे आप किसी के पास ब्यूरोक्रेट के पास जाएं कि सर ये रूल है, ये तो नहीं हो सकता। We Pakistan needs out of box solutions. We need to be innovative, क्योंकि हमारा एग्जिस्टिंग सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर सकता बर्जनिंग पॉपुलेशन ग्रोथ को। So these are my now ladies and gentlemen, we have Eman Khan, and she's an entrepreneur who is an engineer by education. She is currently working on developing different technologies to bring innovation in healthcare sector of Pakistan. She'll highlight her success story as an entrepreneur through the National Incubation Center. आपको बहुत लोग सुनना चाहते हैं कि ताकि आपके एक्सपीरियंस के क्या क्या करें वो, ताकि वो भी आपकी तरह वेंचर करें इसमें. Floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much. Before starting about my venture, I would like to give you a picture of what Pakistan healthcare system is. Basically, in Pakistan, the figures are very bad. We are the ones that have highest breast cancer rate in Asia. We are one of the 3 countries where polio is still present. And we have second high prevalence of hepatitis C. And we are ranked 4th in multi-drug resistant TB. These are just some of the stats, and the worst one is that our life expectancy has dropped from 68 years to 66 years. In the countries outside Pakistan, like the other countries, people start living their life after once they are 60 years old. They say that now we are free, we don't have any job, let's live a life. And in Pakistan, at the age of 66 years, they die. Most of them die. So this is our healthcare system. And when a founder or a female tries to do something in artificial intelligence or tries to bring the innovation in some different field, she is pulled back. In our society, she is pulled back. People say that, why you thought of doing this? You have kids, just take care of them. You have this. How can you do this? This is a tough thing to be an entrepreneur. You cannot do it. And despite that you have the support of your family and the people around you, you are pulled back. So basically, this was me before joining the National Incubation Center, and I was like pulled back all the time that you cannot do it. This is a tough thing, and why you choose this? You can start a job. You are educated. You are an engineer. You can get a good job. So meanwhile, the cohort 8 applications for NIC were open, and 1 or 2 of my friends who actually knew the startup culture and entrepreneurial culture asked me to apply for it, and they said, what will happen? If you get the incubation there, you can just try for 1 year, and if it fails, you can always start a new job, but you should give it a try. So I applied, and the best part about these incubation centers, specifically Islamabad I'm talking about because I have been there, is that the process of all this selection and everything was very fair. I was selected, I was interviewed, and they were very respectful despite the fact that I was very new. I was at the ideation stage. I knew very less about my startup even. So I passed through the different tests and all the procedures that are there, and I got incubated over there. When I got incubated over there, I was given mentorship from different mentors and highly qualified and good mentors from different fields. Just give me 1 second.
एमन, आप बिल्कुल परवाह ना करें, बच्चों को करने जो कर रहे हैं, आपकी बात समझ आ रही है. रिलैक्स, आप फोकस करें, करने दें जो बच्चे कर रहे हैं. म्यूट रिमूव करें, म्यूट हैं आप म्यूट हैं.
Oh, sorry. So basically, later on, it happened that I started getting good mentors over there. And the best part about Incubation Center was that whenever there was this point in my journey that I felt so low, I went to my mentors, I went to the people that are there to support you at NIC, and they were always there to encourage me. None of them ever in this 1 year that I have spent at NIC, none of them was there to say that, oh no, it's the point where you are falling. Oh no, it's the point where people usually quit. No one was there to say that. So they gave me support. In fact, as you can see that my kids are like moving here and there. There was this time when their schools were closed and I was so much worried. I didn't had any house help, and I was so much confused at what to do with them and how to cater with this thing. And I remember that when I went to my support at NIC. They told me that you can bring them here, you can like make them sit here, there's a daycare, if they are older they can sit with you on the table and you can work with them. And it actually worked out. They were just a few days in this like journey, but rather than quitting, rather than sitting home, I was given this space that they can come here, they can come with me, because I was more comfortable in working in the office space of NIC rather than working at home. So they said that why don't you bring the kids along, it's fine, we will cater. And everyone was like the very first day when I brought my son there, he was running around, he was very excited that what is this place, it's very interactive kind of place at NIC. So my son was very happy, he was running here, and then I was very much worried that might be people are getting disturbed, and everyone was saying no, we are used to this, don't worry. And everyone was very supportive. So this is the thing that you get at an incubation center. Secondly, the best part that I was taught there was that it's your business. Whenever I used to come to them, go to them for some advice regarding a bigger advice, they used to tell me that we are going to guide you, go to different people. I remember I had to make a very big decision for my startup. I went to Parvez Saab, I went to Zishan, the program manager, I went to Mirai, I went to everyone, in fact, at NIC. I went to them and everyone gave me different advice. And I remember that Parvez Saab and Zishan were sitting in a room. I went to them and asked them that this is going to happen. It's a big decision for me. They said, it's your decision. It's your decision. What if you fail? You will learn something new. So don't worry. You have to take risks. It's a business. You have to take risks. And the good part is that they taught me that. So for me, I must say that there are people that are sitting there that want to do something, and all they need is encouragement and little bit of push and little bit of training. And if they have the first part, it's always taught there that it's the first part that you are starting a venture. If you have started it, then all you need are little pushes, and if you get those pushes back and forth, then obviously you are going to make it. Another good thing about my startup that I was able to do, and I'm very happy, although it is a very small impact that I must say I've created so far in a year, is that I picked the kids who were sitting in their houses for a year or 2 years. One boy was even sitting for 3 years, and he was hopeless that I won't be able to get a job ever in my life. I picked them, I trained them, I gave them the job. They sat on my table, they worked uh, with all the hard work. I told them that you have to take your time out, you have to give yourself in and do your learning. You're not giving anything to my startup, you are giving everything to yourself. And within the 6 months of their job, most of them were able to get admissions abroad or get a better job outside Pakistan. And my team keeps on switching. It's a tough thing for me, obviously, because they keep on switching. They keep on getting better job. I keep on getting new people. But the best part is that the job is created. That the jobs are created for the ones who are sitting hopeless in their house. That we might not be able to get the job. We might not be able to switch our careers. So I must say that all you have to do is start this thing and approach the people like an incubation center, so that they give you the ground to work and to make a difference. And another best part that Parvez have mentioned was the space that I have. If you start any journey and you start by your own office, it's very expensive. Considering all the facilities, the internet, the electricity, the space itself, it's very expensive. So if for 1 year you get this whole thing for free and you have a peace of mind that you just have to sit, work, you have the people around to get the mentorship. You stuck here, you get the mentor. You are stuck there, you get the mentor. The people in house are there to help you out. They're even there to review your content that you have created. So you have that support, you can work with the peace of mind, and you can definitely grow. So for my startup, it was the only thing. Although it's an AI startup, it's a slow startup, it works at a different pace. But if I look back on June 2020, when I started from National Incubation Center, and now in August 2021, I must say that I have come a long way, and my startup is in the growing stage and not in the very early stage. So my journey was summed up like this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aman. I'm just continuing from where you left. Can you tell us something briefly what you are doing A little bit dilation on that. What kind of job are you undertaking, this business?
Yes, basically, my business is an artificial intelligence business, and it's a tough one in the sense that it is a medical business. Basically, using the artificial intelligence and machine learning, we find different kinds of problems in the chest X-rays. So our model is a bit different, as in many companies abroad, in even some in Pakistan, they are giving the diagnostic tools that they diagnose if there is a certain disease in chest X-ray or mammogram or any kind of like scan, radiological scan. So we are a bit different, that we are highlighting different pathologies, like we are highlighting bones, we are highlighting different parts, segmenting them out, and then we are leaving it to the doctor to make the diagnostic. So we are highlighting those pathologies, and the doctor will be the final person to give a final conclusion that yes, this is the disease. Also, we are giving intelligent reporting tools. These days, the doctor have to type all the report, or the doctor have to write all the report. So basically, it's a template in which the doctor fills in the basic information, and the whole report is printed out on a certain template. So basically, these are the assistive tools that we are creating. And in-house, we have people who are like the people that are working here are the coders, the AI coders, the machine learning and AI coders, and web developers. And we also have doctors, the doctors that are helping us in like making those segmentations and everything in the scan. This business is not possible without both of them working together.
Okay, got it. So I don't know whether I should ask you this question or not. Are you making good money? So we see another millionaire in about years' time.
Yes, you can expect me to be a millionaire in a year's time, but not now, because there are, as it's a medical business, so there are a lot of like compliances and things involved that we are integrating one by one in our software. Once they are integrated, we will get the DRAP approval, and that will be deployed. But it's a highly scalable business. Once it's deployed, there's no stopping it.
Oh, great, great. Thank you very much, Aman. One thing you highlighted that there was a fear of failure, which the incubation center people there, they allayed those fears. This is the worst thing that can happen to an entrepreneur or to an athlete, to a skydiver, to anybody, that there shouldn't be a fear of failure. So that, and you highlighted that how the people at Incubation Center, National Incubation Center help you. We are lucky to have you with us on this webinar, because there will be many young mothers watching. You will be a source of inspiration for them, that you had the qualification, you have the urge to do something, you have a family, wonderful family, cute kid you have. So, Abasi Sir, you have to pass this word around, that you provide these such tremendous facilities. I tell you, you will have to create more space, for there will be so many entrants. Well done, Aman, we are proud of you. Thank you. Now, we have a few questions trickling in. The first is, there's these incubation centers are talking about educated youth. Do we have incubation centers for less educated and underprivileged people? Abhay, you can take on this question.
Sure, I think that's a very valid point, and I even see this as a criticism as well. But I would like to give you an example that कहीं ना कहीं से हमने शुरू करना होता है, और इसकी मैं एक छोटी सी एग्जांपल दूंगा. ताल्लुक मेरा टेलीकॉम इंडस्ट्री से है. जब मोबाइल फोन नए शुरू हुए थे पाकिस्तान में अर्ली 90s में, तो वो सिर्फ अमीर लोगों के लिए मोबाइल फोन की सर्विस होती थी. आज अल्लाह के फजल से हर सोशल इकोनॉमिक क्लास के लोग इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. यहाँ तक कि जो इवन लो इनकम लोग हैं वो भी इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं अपनी डेली रूटीन में, और अपनी जिंदगी में बेहतरी लेकर आते हैं. मुझे उम्मीद है इंशाल्लाह कि इसी तरह जैसे हमने ये इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर का प्रोग्राम शुरू किया है फेडरल और प्रोविंशियल कैपिटल्स में, इसको हम रोल आउट कर रहे हैं दूसरे शहरों के अंदर. There is also a concept which we are currently experimenting with, which is called the Rural Incubation Center Program. तो अमार जाफरी साहब हैं, उनके साथ हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि मिलके इसको expand करने की. But to answer your question specifically, we have no doubt that we have to move beyond the current main physical cities, जो हमारे major cities हैं. इसके साथ साथ मैं ये भी कहना चाहूँगा कि टेक्नोलॉजी के जरिए हम लोग एक वर्चुअल और हाइब्रिड प्रोग्राम जो है वो इस भी चला रहे हैं। और उस प्रोग्राम का बेनिफिट ये है कि वो फिजिकल लिमिटेशन नहीं है कि हम सिर्फ 200 या 250 लोगों के साथ काम कर सकते हैं। हमारा इंशाल्लाह प्लान ये है और हम चाहेंगे कि लोग अप्लाई करें ऑनलाइन, ताकि एक वर्चुअल प्रोग्राम अपने घर में, अपने गांव में, अपने जहां पे भी हैं, सो लॉन्ग एज उनके पास एक इंटरनेट एक्सेस हो, उनके पास एक स्मार्टफोन हो, तो वो उस प्रोग्राम का हिस्सा बन सकते हैं। तो ये डेफिनेटली हम लोग एक्सपेंड कर रहे हैं। और आई बिलीव दैट जो गवर्नमेंट है थ्रू यूएसएफ फंड एंड वेरियस अदर प्रोग्राम्स, वो अपनी टेलीकम्युनिकेशन 3G 4G सर्विसेज भी एक्सपेंड कर रहे हैं। तो बहुत सारे लोग जो इस वक्त शायद इसको अवेल नहीं कर सकते, शहरों में नहीं आ सकते, उनको हम उनके घरों में बैठ के टेक्नोलॉजी के जरिए प्रोग्राम से गुजारेंगे इंशाल्लाह।
मेरा ख्याल है ये क्वेश्चन इसलिए आया, देखें मेरे ज़हन में ये क्वेश्चन आया, मैं सोच रहा था कि एक जॉबलेस लड़का है जिसकी मैट्रिक तालीम है, उससे भी कम है, तो ये बांग्लादेश में ग्रामीण का ये मॉडल था कि डॉक्टर यूनुस ने जब स्टार्ट किया तो वो क्या करते थे, माइक्रो फाइनेंसिंग, लेकिन वो अगर एक औरत को 2 भैंसें या गाय लेके दी तो उसको फिर पूरा बिजनेस मॉडल भी देते कि तुम ये ऐसे बेचोगी और ये इनकम आएगी, इस तरह हमारे पैसे लौटाओगे ऐसे, एंड दैट वाज इट इज अ बिग सक्सेस। और जो है
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, बिल्कुल आपकी बात दुरुस्त है। और इनफैक्ट आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू रिपोर्ट के जो अकूवत है, डॉक्टर अमजद साकिब साहब जो फाउंडर हैं उनके और उनकी टीम में, उनके साथ भी हम मिल के काम कर रहे हैं, ताकि जो रूरल एरियाज में हमारे लोग हैं, और जरूरी नहीं है कि वो इतना ज्यादा पढ़े लिखे हों, उनको हम एम्पावर कर रहे हैं छोटे माइक्रो लोन्स के जरिए। और हमारे जो दूसरे पार्टनर्स हैं टेफ्टा वाले, उनकी जो स्किल डेवलपमेंट है, चाहे वो प्लम्बर है, इंजीनियर है, टेक्नीशियन है, एक्सेट्रा, उनको भी एम्पावर कर रहे हैं सॉफ्ट स्किल्स के जरिए, ताकि वो ना सिर्फ जॉब भी कर सके बल्कि वो अपने आप को एक सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड पर्सन भी बना सकते हैं। मैं ये भी जरूर कहना चाहूंगा कि जो डॉक्टर खाकान साहब ने हाईलाइट किया है, मेरे दिल के बहुत करीब है ये माइंडसेट का। और ये जो माइंडसेट है ना, ये सबसे मैं समझता हूँ बुनियादी चीज है जो जरूरत होती है किसी भी इंसान को कामयाब होने के लिए। तालीम होना जो है वो जरूरी नहीं है कि आपकी कामयाबी हो। मैं आपको बहुत सारे PhDs बता सकता हूँ जो बेचारे फारग घर में बैठे हुए हैं, और इसके बरक्स अक्सर जो हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं उनकी इतनी ज्यादा तालीम नहीं होती। कुछ ऐसे भी हैं जो सिंपल मैट्रिक हैं, लेकिन माशाल्लाह उन्होंने सैकड़ों लोगों को एम्प्लॉय किया हुआ है और करोड़ों रुपए कमाते हैं सालाना।
आपने बहुत अच्छी बात की, जो लास्ट आपने बात की, हमारे एक हाजी साहब हैं, दोस्त मेरे, अरबपति हैं, लेकिन बिल्कुल कोरे अनपढ़ हैं। तो एक दिन मुझे कहते हैं कि जी मैं कदे पढ़ जाता ना, मैं कहा पढ़ जाते तो फिर एक लड़की कर रहे होते। तो आपकी बात ठीक है। अच्छा डॉक्टर साहब, आपने जब ये भाई साहब बात की तो एक साथ ही क्वेश्चन आया है कि कैन वी लिंक माइक्रो फाइनेंसिंग विद इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स, तो आपने आंसर कर दिया कि लेकिन ये लिंकेज तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। अगर देखें ना, माइक्रो फाइनेंसिंग के साथ इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर्स का लिंकेज हो जाए, I'm talking about not the incubation centers which are in academia or high profile type, लेकिन normal लोगों के लिए incubation centers अगर बन जाए तो this can solve the problem of joblessness. अच्छा, तो there's another question. Incubation centers should focus on dropouts from high schools and colleges. इस पे डॉक्टर खाकान आप अपना कमेंट दीजिए ना, फिर हम भाई साहब से पूछते हैं।
हाँ देखिए, मैंने जिंदगी में कामयाब होने के बहुत से तरीके हैं और लोगों ने इस्तेमाल किए हैं और लोगों ने सीखा है उनसे। जो अगर मैं ड्रॉप आउट हो जाऊं किसी चीज में, लेट से मैंने कोई कोशिश की और मैं नाकाम हो गया, मैंने जो चीज सीखी है ना कि आप मेंटोर्स अपने रखें, आप अपनी जिंदगी में मेंटोर्स ढूंढें। आपके इर्द गिर्द वो हो सकते हैं, आपके वालिद हो सकते हैं, चचा हो सकते हैं, कॉर्नर स्टोर का हाजी साहब हो सकते हैं जैसे इन्होंने जिक्र किया, कोई जन साहब जैसे लोग हो सकते हैं, कोई साइकिल ठीक करने वाला हो सकता है। मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं दोस्तों, जब मैं बड़ा हो रहा था तो मेरा जो मेंटोर था वो मोटर मैकेनिक था जो हमारी गाड़ी ठीक किया करता था। आप पूछें कि वो क्यों था, उसने मुझे एक बात बड़ी अच्छी की, उसने कहा डॉक्टर साहब गाड़ी का वो पुर्जा जो बहुत ब्रोकन ना हो उसको चेंज नहीं करना चाहिए, कई चीजें चल रही हो तो चलने दें, ये एक उसका एस्पेक्ट था। So I always thought that was a good advice he gave me. So people who are unable to do, जिनको मैं ड्रॉप आउट कहूंगा कि आप एक चीज में अनसक्सेसफुल हो गए, मैंने कई चीजें की होंगी जिंदगी में जिनमें मैं सक्सेसफुल नहीं रहा, तो then I go to my mentor and I discuss. جو اس وقت ٹاپ ایتھلیٹ ہے آسٹریلیا کی ٹینس پلیئر, اس کو واپس لانے میں شی ہیڈ گون آؤٹ آف پلئنگ, اس نے ایک مائنڈ کوچ رکھا. مائنڈ کوچ آسانی سے مینٹور کو کہتے ہیں. سو یہ ساری چیز ہے, ایک اچھا مینٹور رکھ لیں, ہی ول گائیڈ یو تھرو.
جی بالکل. بھائی صاحب, would you like to comment on this? Dropouts.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is actually very dear to my heart, یہ subject جو ہے, اور بہت ساری باتیں جو ہے نا وہ لوگوں کو شاید پسند بھی نہیں آئیں گی, لیکن دل کی بڑھاس ہے تو مجھے نکالنا ضروری ہے. I feel that people are educated out of their learning. تو اگر آپ اس کو دیکھیں تو majority of the well recognized startup founders, چاہے وہ مارک زکربرگ ہو, فیس بک کا اسٹیو جابس ہو, ایپل کا بل گیٹس کا ہو, یا ایون علی بابا کا جیک ما ہو, تو ان کی ایکچولی یہ یونیورسٹی کے ڈراپ آؤٹس ہیں. اینڈ دس از سم تھنگ وچ از ریپیٹیڈ, یو نو ویو سین دس اگین اینڈ اگین. تو میرا اپنا ویو یہ ہے کہ دس از آن مائی اون پرسنل اوپینین, فرام مائی اون ایکسپیرینس, the more educated you are, the less likely you are to be a successful entrepreneur. So I just want to say this again. The more educated you are, the less likely you are to be a successful entrepreneur. So sometimes I believe وہ کہتے ہیں نا law of diminishing returns ہوتا ہے کہ you need to quit, you need to take a break, and you need to, rather than educate, you need to start to learn. میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ if we stop teaching our children, i.e. if we stopped educating them and we simply taught them how to learn, the ability for them to learn how to learn is far more important than the knowledge and experience that we are giving them. So for example, ہمارے پاکستان میں unfortunately quality education as such نہیں ہے. People are taught how to pass the exams. وہ رٹا سسٹم جس کو ہم یہاں پہ کہتے ہیں, اس پہ زیادہ emphasis ہوتا ہے, ڈگریز کے اوپر, پاسنگ مارکس کے اوپر, گریڈز کے اوپر. اور الٹیمیٹلی کیا ہوتا ہے, یہ چیزیں آپ کو کام نہیں آتی ریئل ورلڈ کے اندر. ریئل ورلڈ کے اندر کہ جو آپ کی کمیونیکیشن سکلز ہیں, آپ کی سافٹ سکلز ہیں. آپ مجھے بتائیں نا کہ جنرل صاحب, آپ ماشاءاللہ, یا ڈاکٹر خاقان صاحب ہیں یہاں پہ, اور بھی لوگ ہیں, کتنی مرتبہ آپ کو اسکول میں جو چیزیں پڑھائی گئی ہیں وہ ایکچولی آپ نے پریکٹیکلی زندگی میں آپ کو کام آئی ہیں, سوائے چند بیسک بنیادی چیزیں جس میں ہم کہیں گے تھوڑا سا پڑھنا لکھنا اور بیسک میتھمیٹکس. سو آئی بلیو کہ ہمارا جو ایجوکیشن سسٹم ہے یہ معذرت کے ساتھ یہ ہمیں یہ پرابلم کو ملٹیپلائی کر رہا ہے. ہم مزید اور ڈگری ہولڈرز پروڈیوس کر رہے ہیں, اور وہ ڈگری ہولڈرز جیسے میں نے پہلے بھی کہا ہے کہ امپلائرز کہتے ہیں کہ 90% امپلائیبل نہیں ہے. تو there has to be some radical change in this, in my opinion.
آپ نے بہت اچھی بات کی, لیکن کئی دفعہ مجھے احساس ہوتا ہے that who will bell the cat, because become various subjects pé we keep carrying out research for these webinars and we for generating few policy papers. So I have come to learn one thing that you know یہ کیا کرے گا کام, یہ جی فیڈرل گورنمنٹ کا نہیں جی, یہ ڈپارٹمنٹ تو ڈیوالو ہو گئی ہے, ابھی یہ آپ پروونسز کریں گے, پروونسز کے پاس چلے جائیں تو جی ابھی ہم بنا رہے ہیں, کر رہے ہیں, کون سا ڈپارٹمنٹ ہے. So literally to even get the data and get information and who is going to do what, one has to go from pillar to post. So therefore دیکھیں جو گورنمنٹ نے فیسیلیٹیٹ کرنا ہے, گورنمنٹ نے پرائیویٹ سیکٹر کو فیسیلیٹیٹ کرنا ہے, اور گورنمنٹ میں بیوروکریسی جو ہے یہ اس کی رسپانسبلٹی ہے. ٹرمینل اینڈ جو ہے نا گورنمنٹ کا, گورننس کا, وہ بیوروکریسی ہوتی ہے, کیونکہ وہیں کوئی نہ کوئی آپ کا آدمی بیٹھا ہوگا جس نے آپ کو فیسیلیٹیٹ کرنا ہے. So our bureaucracy has a tremendous responsibility to facilitate the entrepreneurship in Pakistan. اچھا, ابھی اس میں we are done with most of the questions, لیکن میں چونکہ آنسر ہو چکے ہیں questions, but I because انہوں نے بھیجے ہیں کسی نے, تو I must read those out. Do we have a real big success story of people establishing business through incubation centers in Pakistan? وہ پوچھ رہے ہیں کہ ریئل بگ سٹوری بتائیں نا, کوئی اوبر ٹائپ کی کوئی سٹوری ہے ہمارے پاس؟
پہلی بات تو میں یہ کہنا چاہوں گا کہ آپ نے کہا جو لاسٹ کامنٹ تھا نا کہ یہ کون who's gonna bell the cat, میں یہ صرف کہنا چاہوں گا کہ یہ ہماری اپنی ایک ذمہ داری ہے, ایک سرکل آف انفلوئنس اور ایک سرکل آف کنسرن ہمارا اپنا ہے मैं समझता हूं कि अगर ये बात दुरुस्त होती तो शायद अब्दुल सत्तार ईदी भी ये कहते कि मेरा काम तो नहीं है, ये तो गवर्नमेंट का काम है। तो मैं चाहूंगा कि हमें खुद एज द इमॉर्टल वर्ड्स के आस्क नॉट व्हाट योर कंट्री कैन डू फॉर यू बट व्हाट यू कैन डू फॉर योर कंट्री। हमारे एज जिम्मेदारी है कि अगर 200 मिलियन पॉपुलेशन में सिर्फ 1% लोग कह दें कि यार ये जिम्मेदारी मैं लेने के लिए तैयार हूं, तो 2 मिलियन लोग जो हैं सर जिम्मेदार लोग होंगे जो इस कंट्री के लिए बेहतरी कर सकते हैं। तो बहुत सारे मुल्क ऐसे हैं जिनकी इतनी पॉपुलेशन नहीं होती। दूसरा ये है कि आपने पूछा है कि सक्सेस इज अ रिलेटिव टर्म। तो मैं ये जानना चाहूंगा कि व्हाट डू यू कॉल सक्सेस, क्योंकि आजकल दौर है मॉनेटरी का, लोग कहते हैं कि पैसे कितने कमाए हैं, पैसे कितने रेज हुए हैं, तो ये एक सक्सेस है। इसमें मैं सिर्फ ये बताना चाहूंगा आपको कि अगर हम देखें तो सिलिकॉन वैली जो है, जो 1952 में शुरू हुई है, जहां पे उनको डेकेड्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं, बेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटीज हार्वर्ड, स्टैनफोर्ड, MIT, बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट माइंड्स फ्रॉम दीज यूनिवर्सिटीज, द बेस्ट फाउंडर्स एंड वेंचर कैपिटल फंड्स लाइक इलॉन मस्क, मार्क जुकरबर्ग, बिल गेट्स वहां पे मौजूद हैं। So do you know what the success rate is in Silicon Valley? Would anybody like to venture? Dr. Khan Saab is obviously very learned on this subject. Dr. Saab, do you have any idea what is the success rate in Silicon Valley?
It must be very low.
So according to our research, less than 1% of startups get funded and less than 3% are successful.
Yeah.
This is in Silicon Valley, sir, जहां पे बेहतर से बेहतर हैं। इसमें मैं साथ में ये भी अर्ज करना चाहता हूँ, बेताशा रिसर्च हो चुकी है, एक यूनिकॉर्न जो $1 बिलियन वैल्यूएशन कंपनी कहलाती है, वो सक्सेस कंसिडर की जाती है। अगर आप देखें तो बहुत सारे ममालिक में इट टेक्स एनीवेयर फ्रॉम 7 to 11 years to create one unicorn. So अभी मैं कहूँगा कि पाकिस्तान में हमें सिर्फ 5 साल भी अभी मुकम्मल नहीं हुए नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर प्रोग्राम का, और मैंने अर्ज किया कि पिछले 2 सालों में जो इन्वेस्टमेंट पाकिस्तान में आई है वो पिछले 20 सालों में इतनी नहीं आई। सो आई डेफिनेटली फील देयर इज अ ग्रोथ। जहां पे बात आती है स्पेसिफिकली, मैंने अर्ज किया था कि नेशनल इंक्यूबेशन सेंटर प्रोग्राम से 1 लाख से ज्यादा जॉब्स क्रिएट हो चुके हैं और वो पाकिस्तानी हैं और यहाँ पे हैं। मैं समझता हूँ ये बहुत बड़ा सक्सेस है। लेकिन अगर आप फाइनेंशियली पूछेंगे तो पिछले माह हमारा एक स्टार्टअप फाउंडर है डिजी खाते के नाम से, उन्होंने $2 मिलियन जो हैं वो रेज किए हैं इन फंडिंग। मैं समझता हूं कि दैट्स नॉट अ बैड सक्सेस। अगेन दिस इज जस्ट वन एग्जांपल ऑफ मेनी अदर एग्जांपल्स। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी सक्सेस जो मैं समझता हूं वो ये है कि हमारी जो 21% खवातीन हैं वो अपना इम्पैक्ट सिर्फ अपने घर तक नहीं है, उनकी जो इम्पैक्ट है, उनकी जो छोटी बहनें हैं, जो उनकी नीसेस हैं, जो उनकी फैमिली में और जो उनके जो सराउंडिंग लोग हैं, उनके ऊपर जो इम्पैक्ट है वो $1 मिलियन से भी बहुत ज्यादा है मेरे नजदीक। I hope that answers your question, General Saab.
Well, that very elaborately answers my question. Rather, you took an exception to it, in a sense, a lot of passion you answered this question. Dr. Saab, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? Dr. Khan, please.
देखिए, ये जो सक्सेस है ना, इसको इस तरह हमें काउंट करना चाहिए कि हम क्या बहुत से यूथ को उस तरफ ला रहे हैं कि वो इस चीज से कन्विंस हों कि दे हैव टू डू देयर ओन वर्क। हमें सक्सेस को इस तरह अकाउंट फॉर करना चाहिए कि क्या हम ये माइंडसेट चेंज करने में कामयाब हो रहे हैं। पर मैं यहाँ जरूर कहूँगा कि स्केल ऑफ द quantitatively improved quality is very important. Numbers डॉलर्स में ना देखें कि जो क्वांटिटेटिवली कि हम बहुत से लोगों को क्या क्वालिटेटिवली बेहतर कर पाए हैं, आई थिंक उस तरह सक्सेस जज करनी चाहिए। और जो परवेज साहब ने इसको एक्सप्लेन किया इस तरह, आई थिंक वी आर कंफर्टेबल, बट दीज आर द एरियाज वेयर वी कैन रियली स्केल अप, और स्केल अप जरूर करना चाहिए। देखिए, स्केल इज की। जितने आप 100 ट्राइज करेंगे तो उसमें से 10 कामयाब होंगी। अगर आप 1000 करेंगे तो 100 कामयाब होंगी। अगर 1 लाख करेंगे तो 10,000 कामयाब होंगी। So that's the way we have to think about this.
Perfect. जैसे कि देखो, सक्सेस स्टोरी हमारे सामने एमन खान है। वो देखे ना कि एक घर बैठी हुई बच्ची है, उसने डिसाइड किया, and she said that she is going giving job opportunities to the people leave, they get job because of her experience, their experience in her setup. तो अच्छा, अभी हमारा टाइम खत्म हो रहा है, so I'll start. Eman, your parting comment कोई देना चाहोगी? Any parting comment?
बिल्कुल, इसी में मैं एडिशन करना चाहूंगी जो परवेज साहब ने कहा और हकान साहब ने कहा। देखिए, مجھے نا کسی نے میری یہاں پہ ایک مینٹور ہی ہے NIC میں, انہوں نے ایک بڑی پیاری بات کہی تھی. میں ایک دفعہ روتی ہوئی آئی, میں نے کہا 2 ہفتے ہو گئے ہماری نا پروگرس اس طرح نہیں ہو رہی جیسے پچھلے مہینے ہوئی تھی. تو انہوں نے مجھے کہا کہ آپ نا یہ دیکھو کہ آپ جب آگے بڑھی ہو تو اپنے آپ کو اس دن سے کمپیئر کرو جس دن آپ NIC آئی تھی, اور پھر اس کے حساب سے ہر ہفتے 2 ہفتے مہینے بعد اپنی پروگرس دیکھو. اگر وہ آگے نہیں جا رہی تو اس کا مطلب ہے آپ کہیں نہیں جا رہی, اگر آپ پچھلے دن سے آگے جا رہی ہو تو آپ آگے چلی گئی ہو. پروگرس یہ نہیں ہے کہ میرا اسٹارٹ اپ آج 2 ملین یا 3 ملین یا 50 ملین کی فنڈنگ جیت کر بیٹھا ہوتا. پروگرس یہ ہے کہ میں اپنے سرکل میں جتنا امپیکٹ پھیلا سکی ہوں میں نے وہ پھیلایا ہے, جتنی پارٹنرشپس کر سکتی تھی میں نے وہ پھیلایا ہے. ان جگہوں پہ جہاں میں مطلب میں فاسٹ یونیورسٹی کی گریجویٹ ہوں, تو آج میں فاسٹ میں جاتی ہوں تو وہ میری ایک پارٹنر یونیورسٹی ہے. میں وہاں ریکٹر لیول پہ MOU سائن کیا ہوا ہے میں نے ایک لیب کے ساتھ, اور اس لیب کے ساتھ میری فلی کولیبریشن ہے. میرا مطلب الحمدللہ ایسے سرکل میں اٹھنا بیٹھنا ہے کہ جہاں پہ بندہ سوچتا ہی ہے, امیجن ہی کرتا ہے کہ میں ان لوگوں کے ساتھ اٹھوں بیٹھوں گی, ان کے ساتھ میٹنگز ہوں گی میری. تو یہ آپ کا امپیکٹ ہوتا ہے. ضروری نہیں اگر میں اپنے آپ کو کامیاب صرف تب نہیں سمجھوں گی کہ میں آج $1 ملین کما چکی ہوں تو آج میں بہت کامیاب ہوں. آپ اپنے حساب سے دیکھتے ہوتے ہیں. اور دوسری بات یہ ہے کہ میں ہمیشہ یہ کہتی ہوں کہ اپنی چیز کو نا سوچا اگر آپ نے کچھ ہونا تو آپ کو وہ اسٹارٹ کرنا چاہیے. شاید آپ وہ 1 ہفتے بعد اچیو کریں, آپ 1 سال بعد کریں, آپ 10 سال بعد کریں, لیکن جب آپ وہاں پہنچیں گے نا تو آپ کو جو دماغی سکون اس کو اچیو کرنے کے بعد ملے گا نا, وہ اس ہر چیز پہ بھاری ہے جو شاید آپ کئی سال تک جاب کرتے رہے اور ایک ہی سسٹم سرکل میں پھرتے رہے. ساتھ کوئی چھوٹی چیز اپنے لیے جو آپ کو اچھی لگے, آپ کو کوئی سکون دے, دماغی سکون دے, پیس دے, وہ ضرور کرنی چاہیے. بھلے سائڈ وینچر کے طور پہ ہو جائے, اگر آپ کی جاب اچھی ہے آپ نہیں کر سکتے تو. I even have an employee جس کی جاب ہے, بہت اچھی جاب ہے, she's earning so much, لیکن she wasn't mentally stable in that job. تو I gave her this opportunity, اور وہ بے شک 1-2 گھنٹے میرے ساتھ لگا لیتی ہے. تو she says کہ وہ جو 1-2 گھنٹے میں مجھے mental peace ملتا ہے نا, وہ کئی زیادہ ہے میری اس جاب سے جو مجھے اتنا زیادہ کما کے دے رہی ہے. تو یہ میں لوگوں کو کہنا چاہوں گی کہ اگر کوئی بیک آف مائنڈ آپ کا کچھ ہے, کوئی بھی چیز آپ نے سوچی ہے, تو ضرور اس کو کریں. چھوٹے لیول پہ کریں, بڑے لیول پہ بے شک ہر چیز بند کر کے فوراً سے کرنے کی ضرورت نہیں ہے, لیکن شروع ضرور کریں. پہلا اسٹیپ شروع کرنا ہوتا ہے.
اوکے, تھینک یو ایمن. دیکھیں یہ جو آپ بات کر رہی ہیں نا کہ دی سکسیس جاب سیٹسفیکشن از ناٹ ڈیٹرمنڈ اونلی بائی دا پے چیک, دیر مینی ادر تھنگس. سو یہ جو آپ بات کر رہی ہیں, ڈاکٹر خاقان پلیز یور پارٹنگ کمنٹ.
دیکھیں یہ ہر انڈیویجول جو ہے نا وہ اس سوسائٹی میں بہت اہم ہے. یہ جو ہماری میکرو امبیلنسز ہیں جس کی کہانی آپ روز اخبار میں سنتے ہیں, بیلنس آف پیمنٹ, فارن ایکسچینج, ایکسپورٹس, امپورٹس بڑھ رہی ہیں, ان سب کا تعلق یہ ہے کہ ہم اپنے مائکرو کو ٹھیک کریں. بات یہ کہ ساری ڈبیٹ میکرو نے کیپچر کر لی ہے, بلکہ ڈبیٹ کیپچر ہونی چاہیے ساری. یہ جو ہماری ایمن خان ہیں, یہ جو ہمارے ایسے بہت سے لوگ ہیں جنہوں نے یہ ٹیک کرنی ہے اسپیس کے انڈسٹریل چیزیں یہاں بنے, چاہے وہ ایک سیفٹی پین ہو, چاہے وہ ایک گاڑی ہو, چاہے وہ کوئی بھی چیز ہو, تاکہ ہماری امپورٹس بہتر ہو. اس کا دوسرا کوئی طریقہ نہیں ہے. اور اگر آپ نے FDI بھی لانی ہے نا تو ایمن ہیز ٹو کانٹیکٹ وتھ سم ون. کوئی بھی گورنمنٹ کا ادارہ جو ہے نا یہ چیز نہیں ڈھونڈ سکتا. سم ون ہیز ٹو بی کنونسڈ کہ ہی از ڈوئنگ اے گڈ AI جاب ویئر شی کین بی سپورٹڈ اینڈ منی کین بی پورڈ ان. یہ ہمارے بزنس ایمبیسڈرز ہیں. پر یہ تو ہمیں لیڈرشپ کے لیول پہ سوچنا ہے. پر جو انہوں نے سوچنا ہے وہ یہ ہے کہ انہوں نے مینٹورز ڈھونڈنے ہیں. سارا کچھ از ان دا مائنڈ. مائنڈ سیٹ کو اپنے بہتر کرنے کے لیے خود ڈھونڈیں ایسے لوگ جو آپ کی انگلی پکڑ کے آپ کو ایک دن کی بھی اگر کوئی چیز بہتر بتا دیں گے تو یو ول بی ایبل ٹو موو فارورڈ. سو گو فائنڈ مینٹورز ان لائف. تعلیم کا ایک جز ہے زندگی کا, تربیت ایک جز ہے زندگی کا, صحیح گائیڈنس ملنا سب سے بڑا جز ہے. اگر میں نے زندگی میں سب سے زرعی چیز کی ہے وہ یہ ہے کہ آئی ہیو ٹرائیڈ ٹو ہیلپ پیپل ٹو گیو دیم گائیڈنس. فائنڈ دوز پیپل. تھینک یو.
بہت اچھا. تو آج کے موضوع کے حوالے سے جو آپ مینٹورشپ کی بات کر رہے ہیں, تو آئی سی انکیوبیشن سینٹر, اور فار دیٹ میٹر نیشنل انکیوبیشن سینٹر, ایز اے مینٹور, ایز اے مینٹور انسٹیٹیوٹ. وہ مٹیریل ہیلپ بھی دے رہے ہیں, but they are supportive also. Parvez Awasi Sahab, your parting comment, please.
So first of all, I would like to again thank you very much for giving us this opportunity and bringing us together. I'm also would like to extend a request to meet Dr. Khaqan Sahab. میں پہلی دفعہ ملاقات ہوئی ہے ان سے virtually. مجھے ایسے لگ رہا ہے کہ میں اپنی باتیں خود سن رہا ہوں ان کے منہ سے. سو وی ہیو اے لاٹ ان کامن, اسپیشلی جو مینٹرشپ کی جو انہوں نے بات کی ہے اور مائنڈ سیٹ کی بات کی ہے. میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ اگر آپ کو گلاس آدھا خالی نظر آتا ہے یا آدھا بھرا ہوا نظر آتا ہے, وہ آپ کی نظر ہے. دس از ویری ویری امپورٹنٹ کہ آپ کرٹیسزم کرنا تو بہت آسان ہے. وہ کہتے ہیں نا سفید قمیض کے اوپر ایک چھوٹا سا نشان اگر نظر آ رہا ہے تو وہ نظر تو آتا ہے لیکن وہ داغ نظر آتا ہے, وہ قمیض نظر نہیں آتی ان کو. ہاؤ از اٹ کہ ہم نے پوری وہ مس کی ہے اور صرف ہمیں. سو وی نیڈ ٹو موو بیونڈ جسٹ کرٹیسزم فار دا سیک آف کرٹیسزم. اور دوسرا یہ ہے کہ اگر آپ انتظار کریں گے کہ ریسورسز میرے پاس ہوں گے تو پھر میں کام کروں گا یا کروں گی, ایسا نہیں ہے. جتنے بھی کامیاب لوگ ہیں اگر پیچھے ان کی ہسٹری میں جائیں تو ان کے پاس ریسورسز کی کمی تھی. تو میں پھر یہ کہوں گا کہ forget about criticism, look at what you can do and improve your own quality of your life. There is a very famous case, sir, پشاور کا کیس ہے. ایک چھوٹا سا بچہ تھا, انہوں نے پی اے ایئر فورس میں جانا تھا, ان کے والدین چاہتے تھے کہ وہ ایئر فورس پائلٹ بنے, لیکن انفارچونیٹلی والدین کی فوت ہونے کی وجہ سے ان کو نا وہ اسکول چھوڑنا پڑا. لیکن وہ اپنا پیشن اور پرپس بھولے نہیں ہے, اپنا ڈریم بھولے نہیں ہے. تو بعد میں زندگی میں ایز دا پرسن گرو اپ, انہوں نے یوٹیوب اور گوگل سے ریسرچ کر کے نہ صرف اپنا جہاز بنایا ہے, اپنا جہاز چلایا بھی ہے. تو میں پھر عرض کروں گا کہ دیر از نو شارٹیج آف ریسورسز, انٹرنیٹ از اویلیبل, دیر از ہنڈریڈز اینڈ تھاؤزنڈز اینڈ ملینز آف کورسز اویلیبل آن یوٹیوب, گوگل وغیرہ وغیرہ. تو آئی ووڈ انکریج پیپل ٹو امپروو دا کوالٹی آف دیئر لائفز اینڈ اسٹاپ کرٹیسائزنگ, رادر فائنڈ سولوشنز. آخر میں سر میں آپ کو کہوں گا کہ خود ہی کو کر بلند اتنا, خود ہی کو کر بلند اتنا کہ ہر تقدیر سے پہلے خدا بندے سے پوچھے بتا تیری رضا کیا ہے. تھینک یو ویری مچ. سوری جنرل صاحب آپ میوٹ پہ ہیں.
آپ میوٹ پہ ہیں, آپ میوٹ پہ ہیں جنرل صاحب.
سوری, آپ کے جو آخری شعر آپ نے پڑھا تو ہماری جو انسپریشن ہے اقبال انسٹیٹیوٹ آف پالیسی اسٹڈیز کی, وہ علامہ اقبال ہی ہیں, اور علامہ اقبال کا پیغام ہے خود ہی کا. یہ جو today's webinar has been exceptional, really exceptional, and I'm really one that when it's going live on air, and many people would know the significance of incubation centers and particularly what NIC is doing. And Bhai Sahab, I'm really impressed the kind of job you are doing, and we would like these incubation centers to proliferate in Pakistan. We require this kind of proliferation, and we don't we need to focus on health, on education, but this is something which translates that health and education into actionable strategies, like giving job opportunities, giving work opportunities. So it was a wonderful webinar, and thank you all. Thank you once again, Dr. Zubair Iqbal Ghori. He had to leave early because of his commitment. Ruiz Abbasi Saab, great to have you. Dr. Khakan Hassan Najib Sir, it is always a pleasure to have you around. And Aman Khan, you are an inspiration for the younger generation, of particularly for the ladies, educated ladies. That's all from Iqbal Institute. Thank you very much. Apna khayal rakhiyega. Khuda Hafiz. Fi aman Allah.
General Sahab, Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah. Khuda Hafiz.